when you think back to your 15-year-old self and you think about where you are right now, how would you describe what you do now to that 15-year-old self?
Well, the 15-year-old self is with me still. It never left. That's the reason I have a career is I never let go of my 15-year-old self, the one that was naive, that felt like he could do the most ridiculous things, or even the younger self that thought that they could go to the top of the house with an umbrella and it would actually break their fall coming down.
Oh.
The one that could say, I want to be a doctor, or lawyer, or paleontologist, or pilot, and then no doubt in their mind that they could do this until some other horrible kid comes along and says, you can't do that. You're not smart enough to do that. Or some teacher tells you can't do that. I'm not smart enough to do that. And I'm naive. I ignored people that said I couldn't do things. And if anything, I doubled down. And now I have a career.
Welcome to A Life Worth Working, a podcast about how we get to the soul of work. We're your hosts, Dana Allen Walsh and Michelle Weiss. I'm the senior pastor of a progressive church, and Michelle's a writer on the future of education and work.
And as always, we love hearing your comments, questions, and thoughts. So please know you can email us at any time at hello@alifeworthworking.com.
And make sure you subscribe to our show and share it with your friends and loved ones who may be searching for more meaning in their work and in their lives.
In this episode, we chat with artist and TED Fellow Paul Rucker, who describes his career as paying attention to things. Paul is an interdisciplinary artist who combines media, live performance, sound, original compositions, and visual arts.
Paul is a self-taught cellist who tours around the world. Throughout this episode, you'll get to hear snippets of music by Paul from 3 different pieces called Oil, Nepal, and Strange Fruit. In some of those pieces, you'll hear his longtime collaborator, Hans Turber, who plays alto saxophone. We hope you enjoy. Tell us about your career, Paul.
It's a set of unusual, amazing twists and turns of me being at the right place and meeting the right people, and I'm very grateful for that. I, like many artists, we start doing things for fun. No other reason, just for fun. You hope that, if you make a painting or a drawing, that your parents will put it on the refrigerator, and that's all you needed. As you get older, people start talking to you about what you do, and eventually someone might pay something. And then the joy starts to be taken away every time you start to sell, because your focus isn't on making interesting, beautiful things. It becomes who is going to buy the next piece. And with that one thought there, the piece of art is ruined before the pencil hits the paper. That's, if you're thinking about it like that every time. We have to survive. We're in a capitalist system. Got to pay rent, got to pay the utility bills so my fan can spin around and around. But I create not in hopes of selling things. When I want to tell a story. You want to come from the most altruistic and, self-determination of places to tell that story, to change minds, to change the narrative, address false narratives, at least me personally. So my journey's been not listening to anyone for the most part, except for the people who said, I see something in you. And those moments have been like major moments. Those are the parts that we want to hold on to, the good, positive, supportive parts that we hold on to. I do things differently. As Michelle, she was at my performance. I played cello in front of a bunch of people. I've never taken a cello lesson.
Wow.
So to come to a place to be performing, I just played two sold out shows.
Wow.
And I played with my soulmate, Hans Turber, who's an amazing saxophone player. We just played in Salzburg, Austria for the Jazz Festival there, played 3 shows. Biggest standing ovation of our careers happened in Salzburg. Amazing. And these things get validating. It's like when you're 15, you don't get that validation so quickly. But later, when it happens, it's like, wow, it can keep you going.
You shared that you learned how to play the cello without ever taking a lesson. When did this start? How did you encounter a cello?
Well, actually, I played bass. I played double bass in fourth grade, and I was pretty good player. I would go around. By the time I was in middle school, I was playing with local symphony orchestras. I was the youngest member. It's a youth orchestra. It was not youth orchestra, but it's amateur orchestra. But it gave me a lot of the basis for my work. Then I started playing in the theater group. I remember getting paid $5 a night when I was 13, which is a lot of money back then. I played music and I loved it. Played in other orchestras, and when I went to college, I started playing in orchestras, the college orchestra and local orchestras, the South Carolina Philharmonic, the Augusta Symphony, Myrtle Beach Symphony, Asheville Symphony. I was playing all over the Southwest as a pickup artist. You know, some orchestras didn't have enough people, so they would hire people to come in and play, and I was one of those people.
All on the bass at the time? Was it
all on the bass at the time? Because that's what I studied in school, and that's what I could read music for, bass. I was playing with the Aiken Symphony. Oh no, Florence Symphony. It was Florence Symphony. And the principal cellist at the Florence Symphony got a new cello, and at the time she was looking to sell her old cello for $1,000. And I was like, oh, I'd love to get that cello. So she sold it to me, paid $250 a week, and I finally bought the cello. So the cello that I paid $1,000 for years ago is beat up. I've had a lot of work done on it. It's been rebuilt inside and new parts. It's my main cello.
Wow.
And I love this cello. Yeah. And I played cellos that cost $750,000, hundreds of thousands. You know, I love my cello. I don't want another cello.
Yeah.
It's my connecting piece. And so then I started playing non-traditionally because that's what you do when you don't take lessons. You just kind of wing it. And I wing it, and I started making odd sounds with it. I started playing with a looping pedal. I created my own style of playing.
Yeah.
And that's how I got here today. And a lot of that is influenced by my mom. There's a video of how my mom influenced pedal playing. So that's a great deal of thanks to her. May she rest in peace. It'll be 3 years of past since her death. But yeah, that's my career. And then somewhere along the line, I moved to Seattle late. Like I was about 30, and I moved into a visual art studio. I said, I'm going to start making visual art. So I started making visual art, even without training. I just started making pottery, painting. I used leftover art supplies and just used whatever was free because I did not have much money then. And you just make. I think you gotta make. If you're an artist, you gotta make. If you have a podcast and you're good at it, like y'all are, you gotta make. And if you're not here at the podcast, you're thinking about the next podcast.
That's right.
Always. And creators are always thinking about what's next.
Yeah.
I love making. I love experimenting. And it's the best job on the planet if you're able to do it. And I think, again, you can get this job if you just don't believe all the negative voices, because when you're growing up and you're about to go to college, someone says, oh, you're going to college? I say, yeah. Well, what you going to study? If you say, oh, doctor, lawyer, they go, oh. If you say art, they go, oh. Our language is very tonal.
Yeah.
And people hear that thing. And even within the art school, people were saying, yeah, I'm studying art, but I'm going to get my education degree to fall back on. And I heard every other person say that. Actually, 3/4 of people say that. And someone asked me, say, Paul, are you getting your education degree? I say, no. He says, well, why not? I say, I'm not falling back. And I came across as sounding really arrogant, but I say, no. Why would if I'm going to cross this line, if I'm going to go across this tightrope, you can cross it several ways. You can cross it with a rope tied to you. But when you fell, you're not going to fall down. That's not crossing. You can cross with a net. That's okay. The net will catch you. And going across, you know that every move you make, it's going to be okay if you screw up because you have a net under you. So I intentionally, maybe I could have crossed with water under me, so I could have just gotten wet and then swam to shore. But I think I created a scenario to where I crossed a river with alligators intentionally. I put the alligators there. It's like, no, we're gonna make this. We're gonna go across here because we don't want to get eaten by the gators. And I know I can cross this. I have the skills to cross this, and I can do this. I've seen other people do it, and I can do it.
I love your self-trust, Paul, as you walk that tightrope with alligators beneath you.
When you started to play around with the cello and understand like what you could do with it, because you do some pretty incredible things too. You really do kind of beat up your cello. And it makes sense that you have to kind of keep maintaining it and fixing it. When did you start to realize that this could also be a way into performance? And was it always the narrative piece that you incorporated into your performances, or did that kind of slowly creep in?
That creeped in. That creeped in. It's like I would do these routines. Well, when I was short on music, I didn't know a lot of music. I would talk between things. So it came a way of dealing with things because I was playing cello and I didn't know a lot of pieces, so I would talk. But now I know more, but I still like talking between pieces. I like asking trivia questions to the audience. Like the other night, I asked women, okay, audience, when did women receive the right to vote? What year? What year was the Emancipation Proclamation? What year was it signed? What year was the Chinese Exclusion Act? What year was Native Americans' right to vote, Native American citizenship? A lot of people think that, women received the right to vote. All women did, but Black women did not receive the right to vote with the 19th Amendment, 1920. So I think it's a full multi-pronged approach to performance, I think, and how do you engage people? I make eye contact with people in the audience. I like looking out, make sure that they're on their phones. Some still are. Sometimes they're just taking video, which is fine too. But I feel grateful, that I'm able to just change the format every now and then. Sometimes I'll just get up and play and then talk at the very end. I'm about to talk in the middle, but it's all improvised. So the form is improvised. I don't know when I'm going to talk or when we're not going to talk. And Friday's show is very different than Saturday. The people make the difference in the audience.
When you talk with Paul, he is a font of knowledge on the history of brutality in this country. His curiosity began to burgeon after he first learned about Emmett Till, the 14-year-old African-American boy who was brutally murdered in Mississippi in 1955 after being accused of whistling at a white woman.
I went home one weekend after school and I learned about Emmett Till. And when I went home with my mom, I asked her, "Hey, Mom, why didn't you tell me about Emmett Till?" And she was like, "I didn't want to fill your head with that nonsense." So these pivotal points in history, in American history, not just Black history, they were ignored. They were buried because she didn't want me to be scared. But in a sense, she created a disservice by not telling me about it. So from then on, I wanted to learn more about everything.
And he did. He began learning everything he could about our history, including learning about a huge burial ground in New York City that has between 15 to 30,000 slaves buried there. Slaves worked to death with their bones bent from overwork.
When we began our conversation with Paul, he showed us some KKK robes he had redesigned with beautiful new colors and patterns. These are part of his ongoing series called Storm in the Time of Shelter.
Paul is creating a groundbreaking archive in Virginia called Carry Forward, a museum of omitted history. Carry Forward is named for Carey Street, where the institution is located, as well as after enslaver Archibald Carey, who supported the Confederacy. His daughter, Constantine Carey, designed the first Confederate battle flag.
From Paul's various trips to yard and estate sales, online auctions, and thrift stores, Paul has slowly been amassing over 50,000 artifacts of enslavement, the Ku Klux Klan, Nazi paraphernalia, and other artifacts of genocide, as well as a banned book library, to address what he views as gaps in the holdings of our nation's major museums, which shed a more positive light on our nation's history.
This new archive delves deep into terror and devastation, along with important narratives of strength, determination, and resilience. Paul, there feels like there's such clarity in your call as an artist and activist.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that calling is something that's developed over time or something you've known for a long time since you were a child.
It's funny. I'm an artist, and I think we all should be activists. Just like we all should be feminists. So I don't really use the term activist in my describing myself.
Yeah.
I mean, we all should want equity. We should also want fairness. We all should no genocides. We don't want no rape, no babies dying. Don't get no matter who they are. We don't want any of that happening. And I think it's also, if you're Black, you're more likely to be an activist, or if you're a woman, you're more likely to be a feminist. And again, it's like men can be feminists, and every politician could be an activist. And maybe we need other labels. But I think it just begins when you are discriminated against, or you're treated poorly, or you're looked over for a promotion, or something is stolen from you. That's yours. Your ideas, your culture is stolen. You push back and try to do what's right, but it doesn't always get to be right, because this world that we know mainly exists on brutality. Those who have the most are the most brutal.
When Paul was 30 years old, he was dating a woman who was studying to be a personal coach, and she encouraged Paul to create a slogan for himself, a motto.
And I thought about it for a long time, and I said, and I created moving beyond the limitations of expectations.
Beautiful.
My main thing I want to emphasize is that don't listen to someone else's advice, because a lot of times they'll talk from their own fear and their perceived limitations of you. There are folks that spend more time thinking about what they're going to do than they actually do doing it. They can think about it for years because there's a safety in thinking about it. And I think about things for a long time. This museum's been in the works for 3 years, but I have a building. I'm getting work done, but it's going very, very slowly, but it's going. But I think there's some simple things that you can say. Someone said yesterday, they saw my instrument. They said, "Oh God, I want to get back to playing guitar again." I say, "Well, you can start tomorrow." That's my immediate answer to everyone. "Well, I got to get one. It's broken." I say, "Guitars are cheap. You can find one. You can do that." And the money that you just spent on the 17 lattes, or this you could have bought a brand new guitar. But again, I don't take advice from anyone because their advice comes from a place of their own fear.
Our deep gratitude to Paul Rucker for his time and for sharing his beautiful work with us, including clips from his pieces Oil, Nepal, and Strange Fruit.
She's Michelle Weiss.
And she's Dana Allen Walsh.
This has been another episode of A Life Worth Working.
Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends and loved ones who may also be searching for more meaning and purpose in their work lives, or what we call the soul of work.